Jeremiah. Chapter 15. And Jehovah said to me, even though Moses and Samuel were to stand before me, my soul would not turn toward this people. Send them out of my sight and let them go. And when they say to you, where shall we go? Then you shall say to them, thus says Jehovah, those who are for death to death, and those who are for the sword to the sword, and those who are for famine to famine, and those who are for captivity to captivity. And I will visit them with 4 kinds of punishment, declares Jehovah, the sword to slay, and the dogs to tear, and the birds of heaven and the beasts of the earth to devour and destroy. And I will make them a horror among all the kingdoms of the earth, because of Manasseh the son of Hezekiah, the king of Judah, for that which he did in Jerusalem. For who will have pity on you, O Jerusalem, and who will lament for you, and who will turn aside to ask after your welfare? You have forsaken me, declares Jehovah. You keep going backward, and I have stretched out my hand against you and have destroyed you. I have become weary of repenting. And I have winnowed them with a winnowing fork in the gates of the land. I have bereaved them of children and destroyed my people. They have not turned back from their ways. Their widows have increased before me more than the sand of the seas. I have brought to them, against the mother of the young men, a spoiler at noon. I have caused anguish and terror to fall on her suddenly. She who has borne 7 languishes, she has breathed out her life. Her sun has gone down while it is still day, she is put to shame and confounded. And the rest of them I will give up to the sword before their enemies, declares Jehovah. Woe is me, my mother, because you bore me, a man of strife and a man of contention to the whole land. I have not lent with interest, nor have they lent to me, yet everyone curses me. Jehovah said, surely I will set you free for your good, indeed I will cause the enemy to make supplication to you in a time of trouble and in a time of distress. Can one break iron from the north, or bronze? Your wealth and your treasures I will give as plunder without price, and that for all your sins, and within all your borders. I will cause your enemies to bring it into a land you do not know, for a fire is kindled in my anger, which will burn against you. O Jehovah, you know, remember me and visit me, and avenge me of my persecutors. Do not let your long-suffering for them prevail and have me taken away. Know that for your sake I bear reproach. Your words were found and I ate them, and your word became to me the gladness and joy of my heart, for I am called by your name, O Jehovah, God of hosts. I did not sit in the assembly of mockers, nor did I exult. Because of your hand I sat alone, for you have filled me with indignation. Why is my pain unceasing, and my wound incurable, refusing to be healed? Will you indeed be to me like a deceitful brook? Like waters that fail? Therefore thus says Jehovah, if you return, I will restore you, you will stand before me, and if you bring out the precious from the worthless, you will be as my mouth, they will turn to you, but you will not turn to them. And I will make you to this people a fortified wall of bronze, and they will fight against you, but they will not prevail against you, for I am with you to save you and deliver you, declares Jehovah. And I will deliver you from the hand of the wicked and redeem you from the hand of those who terrorize. Jeremiah. Chapter 16. The word of Jehovah also came to me, saying, You shall not take a wife for yourself nor have sons or daughters in this place. For thus says Jehovah concerning the sons and daughters who are born in this place and concerning their mothers who bear them and concerning their fathers who beget them in this land. They will die grievous deaths and will not be mourned or buried, they will be as dung on the surface of the ground and will be consumed by sword and by famine, and their corpses will become food for the birds of the sky and the beasts of the earth. For thus says Jehovah, do not enter the house of mourning, and do not go to mourn, and do not lament for them, for I have taken away my peace from this people, declares Jehovah, my loving kindness and compassions. Both the great and the small will die in this land, they will not be buried, nor will they be mourned, and no one will cut himself or make himself bald for them. Nor will they break bread for them in mourning to comfort anyone for the dead or give them a cup of consolation to drink for his father or for his mother. And you shall not enter the house of feasting to sit with them and eat and drink. For thus says Jehovah of hosts, the God of Israel, I will cause to cease from this place, before your eyes and in your days, the voice of gladness and the voice of joy, the voice of the bridegroom and the voice of the bride. And when you tell this people all these words and they say to you, why has Jehovah pronounced all this great evil against us? And what is our iniquity? And what is our sin which we have sinned against Jehovah our God? Then you shall say to them, because your fathers forsook me, declares Jehovah, and went after other gods to serve them and to worship them, but have forsaken me and have not kept my law. And you have done more evil than your fathers, for indeed, you go about, each one after the stubbornness of his evil heart, without listening to me. And I will cast you far away from this land into a land which you have not known, neither you nor your fathers, and there you will serve other gods day and night, for I will not show favor to you. Therefore indeed, days are coming, declares Jehovah, when it will no longer be said, as Jehovah lives, who brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But, as Jehovah lives, who brought up the children of Israel out of the land of the north and out of all the lands where he had driven them, for I will bring them back to their own land, which I gave to their fathers. I am soon sending many fishermen, declares Jehovah, and they will catch them, and afterward I will send many hunters, and they will hunt for them from every mountain and from every hill and from the clefts of the rocks. For my eyes are upon all their ways, they are not concealed from my face, neither is their iniquity hidden from my eyes. But first I will recompense double for their iniquity and their sin, because they have profaned my land with the corpses of their detestable things, and their abominations have filled my inheritance. O Jehovah, my strength and my stronghold, my refuge in the day of distress, to you the nations come from the ends of the earth and say, surely our fathers inherited falsehood and vanity, in which there is no profit. Shall a man make gods for himself, though they are no gods? Therefore now, I am causing them to know, at this time I will cause them to know my hand and my might, and they will know that my name is Jehovah. Jeremiah. Chapter 17. The sin of Judah is written with an iron pen, with the point of a diamond it is engraved on the tablet of their heart and on the horns of your altars. While their children remember their altars and their Asherahs beside flourishing trees upon high hills. O my mountain in the field, your wealth and all your treasures I will give as plunder, your high places, because of sin, within all your borders. And you yourself will let go of your inheritance, which I gave to you, and I will cause you to serve your enemies in a land which you do not know, for you have kindled a fire in my anger, which will burn forever. Thus says Jehovah, cursed is the man who trusts in man and makes flesh his arm and whose heart turns away from Jehovah. And he will be like a shrub in the desert and will not see when good comes, but he will dwell in the parched places in the wilderness, a land of salt and uninhabited. Blessed is the man who trusts in Jehovah and whose trust Jehovah is. And he will be like a tree transplanted beside water, which sends out its roots by a stream, and will not be afraid when heat comes, for its leaves remain flourishing, and it will not be anxious in the year of drought and will not cease to bear fruit. The heart is deceitful above all things, and it is incurable, who can know it? I, Jehovah, search the heart and test the inward parts, even to give to each one according to his ways, according to the fruit of his deeds. As a partridge broods over what she has not laid, a man makes riches but not rightly, In the midst of his days they will leave him, and at his end he will be a fool. A throne of glory set on high from the beginning is the place of our sanctuary. You are the hope of Israel, O Jehovah, all who forsake you will be put to shame. Those who turn away from me will be written in the earth, because they forsook Jehovah, the fountain of living waters. Heal me, O Jehovah, and I will be healed, save me and I will be saved, for you are my praise. Indeed, they say to me, where is the word of Jehovah? Let it come now. But as for me, I have not hurried away from being a shepherd after you, and I have not desired a day of disaster. You know that what came out of my lips was before your face. Do not become a terror to me, you are my refuge in an evil day. Let those who persecute me be put to shame, but as for me, do not let me be put to shame, let them be dismayed, but do not let me be dismayed. Bring upon them an evil day, and break them with a double destruction. Thus said Jehovah to me, Go and stand in the gate of the sons of the people, through which the kings of Judah come in and through which they go out, and in all the gates of Jerusalem. And say to them, Hear the word of Jehovah, O kings of Judah and all the inhabitants of Jerusalem who enter through these gates. Thus says Jehovah, Take heed to your souls and bear no burden on the Sabbath day, nor bring anything through the gates of Jerusalem. And do not bring out any burden from your houses on the Sabbath day, nor do any work, but sanctify the Sabbath day, as I commanded your fathers. But they did not listen or incline their ear, rather they stiffened their neck that they might not hear or receive correction. But if indeed you listen to me, declares Jehovah, and bring no burden through the gates of this city on the Sabbath day, but sanctify the Sabbath day and do not do any work on it. Then kings and princes who sit on the throne of David, riding on chariots and on horses, they and their princes, the men of Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem, will come through the gates of this city, and this city will be inhabited forever. And they will come from the cities of Judah and the places surrounding Jerusalem and from the land of Benjamin and from the lowland and from the hill country and from the Negev, bringing burnt offerings and sacrifices and meal offerings and frankincense and bringing thanksgiving to the house of Jehovah. But if you do not listen to me to sanctify the Sabbath day and not to bear a burden when coming in through the gates of Jerusalem on the Sabbath day, then I will kindle a fire in its gates, and it will devour the palaces of Jerusalem and will not be extinguished.